I am putting the microscope on male behavior this week as it relates to a woman's hormonal cycle. Yes, friends, I am referring to a woman's menstrual cycle and all the madness and tumult that can and often does erupt at various points every 28 days or thereabouts. Now, in my landmark book, How High Should I Jump?, I take a rather absurd look at PMS, and I essentially blame men for not having their shit together when it comes to understanding exactly what, where, and when, and why she is acting like she is. Indeed, I put the onus on we men to do the bulk of the understanding and adjusting, a position which has caused no small amount of controversy, as evidenced by an email I got from a recent convert, if you will, to the Quibner team. Now, we'll get to the message shortly, but the idea, guys, that we should blame a woman's mood swings on her period and just leave it at that is simply not good enough, friends. We need to take an active role in not only understanding what is going on and why, but also it is incumbent upon us not to overreact when she's overreacting, gentlemen, along with a host of other tidbits of advice I will soon be getting to. Now, I was young once. Yes, I was. And when I was young, I was absolutely clueless about what the hell a woman's period was, let alone having, even an inkling that it might be bugging her. I just was completely daft, if you will. I didn't know. And sex ed, hey, I was looking at girls during sex ed. You don't expect me to be actually listening to the teacher, do you? No, I had to earn my understanding slowly, painfully, actually, having been bludgeoned by several girlfriends for my dashing and cavalier, routinely uncaring attitude of not getting it when they weren't feeling well, and essentially expecting them to just snap out of it, right? I learned, though, that a woman cannot just snap out of it, and I learned the hard way, guys. Although I will say this, not every woman and not every time she's approaching her period does she become some snarling monster, but it happened enough anyway that I eventually formed an understanding of woman's patterns, and out of the desire to survive, thank you, I became aware that maybe the week or so, prior to her period was not a good time to make demands or spring surprises on her. No. In fact, I learned that this is precisely the time that I had better be on my best behavior, or I would surely stumble and trip over myself, which would give said girlfriend the opportunity to, as we say, vent her frustrations upon me. That's putting it mildly. My blistered backside stands as testimony to my slow rate of growth when it came to catching on to how important this key relationship factor was, and yes, gentlemen, still is. All right. If there's anybody out there, please somebody stop me from ranging too far here, because I need to get back on what we're talking about. We got an email here that I wanted to get to. I could go on all day about my blistered backside, but let's, for the sake of brevity. This one is from Charles G. in Lansing, Michigan. And it's a long one. Charles writes a book. Milt, what are your thoughts on dealing with a woman who becomes a beast before her period? My fiancée is the sweetest, most loving little thing most of the month. But then suddenly I'll say or do something about 9 days before her due date usually, or something around there, and it is as if I have personally attacked her, and it's usually over a little thing. Yeah, I got you. I keep saying, hey, don't react like that. Be logical, and we can deal with this. But that only makes her madder at me. Oh, boy. Okay. Long. And I read in your book where you say the problem is not women, but us men. And I was like, I know he's fucking with me here. I have nothing to do with how she feels. But it did get me to thinking. So here's what I need to know. If you're serious, what should I do before her period, if anything? Oh, boy. Dear Charles, yes, you will find in satire and absurdity, even though there is often a mocking, cynical tone, there is a gold nugget of truth supporting the absurd idea. And in this case, sir, I am firm when I say it's on you, pal. Whether that's right or not, you are the problem.